If others were to find out about it, they would be scared to death. But without a doubt, it was the most effective and time-saving method. Boom, boom, boom. In his sea of consciousness, the 9 dragons were constantly attacking the chaos runes. In the beginning, the 9 dragons only used 1 dragon claw. Slowly, the number of dragon claws increased, and they used 2, then 3. 10 days later, the 9 dragon claws of the 9 dragons attacked the chaos runes together. The runes shook violently. Gotcha! At some point, the chaos intent rune made a cracking sound, and a crack appeared on it. At this moment, Lu Ming's body trembled violently and he spat out a large mouthful of blood. However, there was no panic in Lu Ming's eyes. Instead, there was joy. Continue. The 9 dragons continued to bombard the runes. As time passed, more and more cracks appeared on the runes. Another 10 days passed. Suddenly dash. Bang. The chaos concept rune exploded, and blood spurted out of Lu Ming's mouth. A crack even appeared between his eyebrows, and blood flowed out. But Lu Ming could not care about that. Melt. Go. Lu Ming roared. The spiritual god in his dantian emitted a strong suction force that attracted the chaos concept rune fragment to the spiritual god. Ooh! All of the chaos intent fragments flew into the spiritual god. At this moment, the spiritual god swelled up and emitted thousands of rays of light, almost exploding. This step was the most dangerous. If he was not careful, his spiritual spirit would explode, his physical body would collapse, and his soul would be destroyed. Suppress. With a thought, the prison-suppressing steel's bloodline appeared in his dantian. It floated above the spiritual god and suppressed him. At the same time, the third bloodline appeared above Lu Ming's head. Waves of energy enveloped Lu Ming. This was the complete plan. Lu Ming had no cultivation experience in the 9 Dragons sect. He combined it with his own conditions and set up a complete plan. He used his 3 bloodlines to complete this step. The spiritual god that was on the verge of collapse was finally suppressed and was fusing with the chaos intent fragment to form a domain. Lu Ming closed his eyes and focused on cultivation. Time passed day by day. An endless distance away from the divine wilderness continent, in a hidden place on the White Feather continent, there was a messy stone forest. In the stone forest, there was an old stone platform. He stood by the stone platform, waiting anxiously. Buzz! All of a sudden, the stone platform began to glow. The glow grew brighter and brighter until it formed a vortex on the stone platform. Suddenly, a figure appeared from the black vortex. 1, 2, and in the end, a total of 10 figures appeared and flew out of the vortex. As soon as the 10 figures flew out, the vortex on the stone platform disappeared. As soon as he saw the 10 people, Di Yi's face immediately showed respect. The leader of the 10 people was dressed in luxurious clothes. His eyes were long and narrow, and when he opened and closed them, a sharp light flashed. Behind the young man, there were 9 people. There were old men and burly men. All of them had powerful auras, giving off an extremely dangerous feeling. Di from the Di family's side branch pays his respects to young Master Di Xian. Di quickly bowed to the young man. "You are Di?" The young man glanced at Di with a faint disdain. "I am Di," Di said hurriedly. "Humph, Di, you are really useless. You can't even take down a divine wilderness continent." Di Xian scolded coldly. Di Yi's face was ugly, but he did not dare to refute. Chapter 1360. 1360 Di Yi's secret, breaking through to the Supreme Being level. Your goal was originally the continent group of the Divine Ruins. According to the task given to you by the family back then, if you could unify the continent group of the Divine Ruins by yourself, you could return to the Di family and become a direct descendant of the Di family. Unfortunately, it seems that you have no hope. Di Xian sneered. Di lowered his head even more, and his eyes flashed with raging anger. It was all Lu Ming's fault. It was all because of Lu Ming that he had ruined his plan. The Di family originated from the Yuan continent and was a powerful force there. As for Di, he was a branch disciple of the Di family, so his status was low. However, there was a rule in the Di family. As for those from the branch family, if they wanted to join the direct line, obtain the status of the direct line, and even obtain the cultivation conditions and resources of the direct line, they had to complete a task assigned by the Di family. Di's mission was to unify the continent group of the divine ruins with his own power. This mission wasn't considered to be very difficult among the missions of the Di family. However, Di's talent was limited. He had come to the continent group of the divine ruins 10,000 years ago. However, at that time, his cultivation level had just broken through to the martial emperor realm. That was why he chose the divine wilderness continent, which was not very strong, to set up the emperor's sky divine palace and begin his plan. At the same time, he would strengthen his cultivation and cultivate the spirit body of 10,000 meridians. Now, his plan was slowly maturing. His cultivation had already reached the peak of the Lever 2 martial royal realm. He had obtained the Myriad meridian spirit body by chance and was just one step away from perfection. He was confident that as long as he obtained one more drop of the 9 dragons' blood essence, he would reach perfection. At that time, he would be able to break through to the Lever 3 martial royal realm with the help of the Myriad spiritual veins body. By then, with his combat power, he could easily unify the divine wilderness continent. Even if he spent some more time, as long as his cultivation broke through to the 4th level of the martial royal realm, it would not be a problem for him to unify the divine ruins continent. At that time, he would be able to return to the Di family and become a direct descendant of the Di family. His status would be greatly improved, and with the support of all kinds of resources, not only would his cultivation base improve by leaps and bounds, but even his bloodline status would also be different. Unfortunately, everything was ruined by Lu Ming. He had not been able to obtain Lu Ming's 9 dragon blood essence, so he had started the war rashly. He wanted to unify the divine wilderness continent first and use the entire divine wilderness continent's power to help him cultivate the Myriad meridian's spiritual body. However, in the end, Lu Ming still ruined everything. Even the 10,000 meridian spirit body that he had cultivated for 10,000 years was destroyed in a day. He had no hope. It was all Lu Ming. Di's eyes turned red at the thought of Lu Ming. I also sent Di Hongqing and Di Honglei to help you. Where are they now? Do you know how much it costs to teleport from the Yuan continent to a wild island like the continent group of the divine ruins? Di Xian shouted coldly again. In his words, the divine ruins continent cluster became a savage island. Di Hongqing, they are dead. Di stuttered. What? Where are the 2 emperor's spiritual weapons? Di Xian's eyes widened, and his cold, killing intent filled the air. Di Yi's heart trembled. Di Xian was the true direct descendant of the Di family. His status was much higher than his. If he was angered, not only him, even his own branch in the Di family would be in danger. Young Master Xian, please calm down. It's all that Lu Ming's fault. If not for him, I would have been able to unify the continent group of the divine ruins before long. Di quickly asked for forgiveness. Lu Ming. Di Xian's eyes widened. Yes, Lu Ming. Di immediately told him about the previous battle and Lu Ming. At the scene, inside and outside the square, millions of experts bowed to Lu Ming. The sound waves gathered and the clouds in the sky were shaken away. No need for formalities, please sit. Lu Ming waved his hand and his voice could be heard from afar. Thank you, Alliance Master. Millions of people began to take their seats. Today, we're here to celebrate the establishment of the Dragon Alliance, and then, we'll split the territories. Lu Ming spoke. He did not say many words, but many people's hearts were beating faster. The Dragon Alliance had unified the world, including Northern Plains, Eastern Barren, Southern Nether, Central Continent, and the other vast territories. How to infect them and who to send to guard them were the questions everyone was concerned about. There were huge benefits to be gained from this. Let's start, Lu Ming announced. The first step was for many factions, big and small, to step forward and make a blood oath to form the Dragon Alliance and rule the divine wilderness. Haha, it seems that I came at the right time today. At this moment, a burst of laughter came from the distance. A golden light flashed and a figure appeared in the sky. That is, it's D. Many people shouted, and some people even showed fear on their faces. Back then, Martial Emperor D had occupied almost half of the divine wilderness continent. He was too powerful. Many forces, big and small, had been ruled by D. Now that D had appeared, those people naturally panicked. D, you still dare to come here? That's great. Today, I'll use your blood as a sacrifice to the flag. Xian Wan bellowed, a burst of demonic chi soaring into the sky. Lu Ming did not say anything. A look of doubt flashed in his eyes. He could clearly see Di Yi's current realm. He was only at the peak of the Level 1 martial royal realm. In the last battle, Di had injured his origin and his cultivation had dropped by 1 level. With such a cultivation, any one of them could easily kill Di, let alone Lu Ming, Xiao Wan, the old general, or Tu Qian. Why did Di still dare to come here? Di, let the others come out together. Lu Ming said, looking behind Di. Let this young master show himself, and that will be the time of your death. A burst of laughter was heard as the space cracked open. 10 figures appeared in the sky, looking down at the Imperial Dragon City. Who are these people? I've never seen him before. Many people were discussing. You are Lu Ming. Di Xian's gaze turned to Lu Ming. Not bad. Lu Ming said. Good, very good. I heard that you killed 2 experts of my Di family, Di Hongqing and Di Honglei, and even took away their emperor weapons. Now, come over and hand over the emperor weapons. Kneel down and beg me to spare your life. Perhaps I can consider sparing your life. Di Xian put his hands behind his back and looked down at Lu Ming with a haughty look. Impudent! How dare you disrespect the Alliance Master? You should be killed. Let's go. A loud shout came from the square as a tall figure soared into the sky. A vast aura filled the entire place. He was an emperor. He used to be the emperor of a dominant force in the central continent. His name was Martial Emperor Kongtan, and he had surrendered to Lu Ming. Therefore, he had the lowest status among the many emperors in the Dragon Alliance. He had been looking for an opportunity to show off in front of Lu Ming and win his trust. Now that he had such a good opportunity, he had to seize it. Boom! Martial Emperor Kongtian's palm struck towards Di Xian. How dare you disrespect young Master Di Xian, die! A middle-aged man walked out from behind Di Xian. He held a sword with both hands and slashed. A terrifying sword light instantly appeared above Martial Emperor Kongtian's head. It broke through his attack and defense and slashed down. Martial Emperor Kongtan screamed as he was cut in half. Even his spiritual god exploded and was destroyed. Chapter 1362 1362 Chapter 1362 So many experts. He had killed an emperor with a single strike. Most of the people present widened their eyes in shock. Peak of the 2nd level martial royal realm. This man is at the peak of the 2nd level martial royal realm. Let's go, a sovereign said solemnly. The middle-aged man behind Di Xian was a peak level 2 martial royal realm expert. Boom, boom, boom. Xiao Wan, the old general, and the others released their auras. All the emperors of the Dragon Alliance gathered their auras and pressed down on Di Xian and the others. Cold killing intent burst out of their bodies. How dare you kill people in Dragon Emperor City? All of you will be killed today. The old general's voice was cold. No matter who you are, you will pay the price today. Xiao Wan said. A terrifying blade light flickered on his body. Stay? The price? Haha, how laughable, ignorant. I'd like to see how you can make me stay today. Di Xian laughed and waved his hand. Boom, boom, boom. Behind Di Xian, auras burst out from the remaining people. Each wisp of qi was like a wisp of smoke. Each wisp of qi was boundless and formed a powerful pressure, which pressed on the Imperial Dragon City and the hearts of the people. The pupils of Xiel Wan, the old general, and the others rapidly enlarged, revealing shock and disbelief. The aura of these people was too strong. Including the middle-aged man who had attacked earlier, there were a total of 6 people. All of them were at the peak of the second-level martial royal realm. The other 2 had even more terrifying auras. They were much stronger than the peak level 2 martial royal realm. Third-level martial emperor realm. It was the aura of a level 3 martial emperor. 6 of them were at the peak of the second-level martial royal realm, and 2 of them were at the 3rd level. There was also a silver-haired old man who stood closely behind Di Xian. He did not give off any aura, but the feeling he gave off was even more dangerous. In Dragon Emperor City, everyone's hearts sank. What kind of tremendous power was this? Now, in the Divine Wilderness continent, the strongest was only at the peak of the second-level martial royal realm. Furthermore, there were only a few people who were at the peak of the realm. Not a single one of them was at the 3rd-level martial emperor realm. But now, there were 6 peak level 2 martial royal realm experts and 2 level 3 martial royal realm experts behind Di Xian. How could they fight? Lu Ming, aren't you very arrogant? Today, the experts of my Di family have arrived, and you will all die. Di laughed. His eyes were full of ferocity and his voice was full of hatred. Today, he wanted Lu Ming to suffer a fate worse than death. Di's voice made many people tremble. Could it be that the Dragon Alliance was going to be destroyed before it was officially established? Lu Ming, how is it? Hurry up and hand over the Emperor's spiritual weapon and come here to admit your guilt. Maybe you can keep your dog life. Di Xian sneered and continued to look down at Lu Ming, as if he was certain that he would win. Emperor spiritual weapons were the spiritual weapons that only peak Emperor experts could unleash their strongest power. Even to Di Xian, they were precious. Those 2 Emperor spiritual weapons were one of the few he had. Out of the 9 experts he had brought, only 1 or 2 of them had an Emperor spiritual weapon. Lu Yuntian and Li Ping looked at Lu Ming with worry. Father, mother, don't worry. It'll be fine. Lu Ming smiled at Lu Yuntian and Li Ping. His smile was filled with confidence. For some reason, Lu Yuntian and Li Ping felt at ease when they saw Lu Ming's smile. Then, Lu Ming ignored Di Xian and looked at Di. You escaped last time. You should have hidden well. That way, you might have been able to survive. But you came here to die. You brought this on yourself. Lu Ming spoke slowly, causing many people to be stunned. In such a situation, Lu Ming was still thinking about killing Di. He couldn't even protect himself. Only the eyes of a few people, such as Xiel Wan, Xia Jiuyang, and Yan Kuang, lit up. They knew Lu Ming very well. Lu Ming would not do anything without a reason. Di himself was also stunned. Lu Ming still wanted to kill him under such circumstances? Where did Lu Ming's confidence come from? Di Xian's face darkened. Lu Ming actually dared to ignore him. Bang! Bang! Di Xian stepped forward step by step, his body releasing a powerful aura. Supreme Martial Artist. Di Xian's cultivation base was at the Supreme Being realm. This shocked many people in Dragon Emperor City. Because Di Xian didn't look very old. He was definitely not more than 30 years old. He might even only be in his early 20s. To reach the supreme level in his early 20s was too shocking. This had never happened before in the history of the Divine Wilderness continent. Lu Ming, I've heard that you're very powerful. I'd like to experience it today. Di Xian spoke, his aura locked onto Lu Ming. You want to challenge me? The corners of Lu Ming's lips curled up slightly. Behind Di Xian, Di's eyes flickered, but he did not speak. He knew that some of the supreme talents in the Emperor family had shocking combat strength and were extremely terrifying. They were far from what some of the so-called supreme talents in the continent of the Divine Ruins could compare to. Although Lu Ming was strong, he might be able to fight Di Xian. Even if he could not fight Di Xian, Lu Ming would offend Di Xian even more and it would be beneficial to him. Not bad. Do you dare to accept the challenge? Di Xian said. Since you're looking for a beating, of course I'll fulfill your wish. Lu Ming smiled and stepped forward, facing Di Xian from a distance. Lu Ming, I heard that you're a rare genius in the divine wilderness continent, but I'll let you know that the so-called geniuses of a desolate island like yours are just a joke. Di Xian sneered. His body started to shine like wisps of sword qi. Buzz! A combat sword appeared in Di Xian's hand. He strode toward Lu Ming and shouted, "Kill!" Whoosh! A beam of sword qi split the sky and slashed at Lu Ming. Boom! Lu Ming threw a punch and activated the prison-suppressing heavenly technique. The fist force and the sword qi collided. The space was twisted into pieces. Lu Ming's body trembled and he actually took 3 steps back. Di Xian, on the other hand, stood still in the air. Hiss hiss hiss. The Imperial Dragon City was filled with gasps. Lu Ming was forced to retreat by a single sword. In the Battle of the Holy City, everyone still remembered Lu Ming's shocking combat strength. Even a peak second-level martial emperor with an emperor spiritual weapon was killed by Lu Ming. Now, Lu Ming was forced to retreat by a single sword. Moreover, the opponent was a young man who was not even 30 years old. This was shocking. His body. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. He was secretly shocked. Although he had not used his full strength and had only revealed his cultivation at the great circle of the spiritual god realm, he had still unleashed 9 streams of dragon power and executed the prison's suppressing heaven technique. Even an ordinary emperor would not be a match for him. However, his opponent was only a supreme being, and the battle prowess he had unleashed was astonishing. What surprised Lu Ming the most was the body of the other party. It was a spirit body. That's right, the other party was only a supreme martial artist, but he had a spiritual body. This was inconceivable. Lu Ming could sense very clearly that the other party's spirit body was not a pure spirit body like his. It was a real spirit body with special attributes. If I can obtain his secret, I will definitely become stronger. I might even be able to compete with those monstrous geniuses in the clan. Thinking of this, Di Xian's heart started to burn. Buzz! His glabella glowed and a golden combat sword flew out, slashing at Lu Ming. Clang! Lu Ming's punch landed on the combat sword and he could not help but retreat. An emperor's spiritual weapon. Lu Ming's eyes flickered, but he was not surprised. Both of them controlled their king's spiritual weapons and enveloped the remaining 2 peak level 2 martial royal realm martial artists. None of the 6 peak second-level martial royal realm experts under Di Xian had an emperor's spiritual weapon, so Xiel Wan and the other 2 were enough to deal with them. Chapter 1364. 1364 Killing a Level 3 Martial Emperor. Kill them all. In the distance, Di Xian let out an angry roar. It was too dangerous just now. Di Xian felt like he had just walked past the god of death. He was so scared that he broke out in a cold sweat. He didn't expect that he would almost be killed by someone of the same generation on a remote island. He was furious and his killing intent was cold. The Asilavir-haired old man appeared behind Di Xian, but he did not attack. Let's see who kills who. Xiel Wan and the other 2 blocked the 5 peak level 2 martial royal realm experts, while Lu Ming charged at the 2 level 3 martial royal realm experts. Buzz! Buzz! The sound of swords resonated in the sky. 2 third-level martial royal realm martial artists each took out a golden combat sword. They were both king's spiritual weapons. How powerful was an emperor's spiritual weapon that was controlled by a level 3 martial royal realm expert? However, Lu Ming was not afraid at all. He slashed down with the dragon pattern sword, which was wrapped in the early stage of the chaos domain. Clang! The 2 swords clashed, forming rings of sword ripples that spread out. The level 3 martial royal realm expert was no match for Lu Ming. His body trembled and he retreated. How is that possible? Not far away, Di Xian and the Asilavir-haired old man all narrowed their eyes in disbelief. Lu Ming's combat strength could actually suppress a level 3 martial royal realm expert. Below, the experts of the Dragon Alliance were extremely excited. Some people clenched their fists tightly. Lu Ming was too powerful. He had not even broken through to the martial emperor realm, but he could already suppress a third-level martial emperor. This was a third-level martial royal realm. There was no one like him in the divine wilderness continent. 30,000 years ago, Xie Luan had only reached the third level of the martial royal realm at his peak. Such an expert was suppressed by Lu Ming. Alliance Master, this was the Alliance Master of their Dragon Alliance. If it was during the Battle of the Holy City, Lu Ming would not be a match for a third-level martial royal realm expert. Moreover, the other party had an emperor's spiritual weapon. However, now that Lu Ming had broken through to the supreme level, his combat strength had increased tremendously. He was no longer the same as he was during the Battle of the Holy City. Whoosh! At this moment, the other third-level martial monarch powerhouse charged at Lu Ming. However, Lu Ming did not seem to see it. He held the dragon vein sword and charged towards the person he had repelled. Just as the sword of the person behind was approaching Lu Ming at high speed, a figure stepped out from between Lu Ming's eyebrows. It was Lu Ming's clone. Whoosh! The second body put his fingers together like a sword and slashed out. A sword light slashed out and blocked the other party's combat sword. During this period of time, Lu Ming's main body had been cultivating. Naturally, his secondary body had not been idle. The second body focused on cultivation and had no other thoughts, so his improvement speed was even faster. During the Battle of the Holy City, the second body had only condensed one golden spirit lamp, but during this time, the second body had already condensed a second golden spirit lamp, and his combat power had greatly increased. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Next, 5 phoenix feather flying swords flew out from between his brows and attacked the other party. The other party was shocked and could only wave his sword to block. Lu Ming took the lead and continued to attack his opponent. The embryonic form of the chaos domain wrapped around the dragon pattern sword. Lu Ming's every sword attack was unimaginably powerful. Clang! The other party was completely passive and could only wave his sword to block. The two swords clashed for the second time. The other party's body trembled continuously, and his face turned pale as he was forced to retreat. Buzz! Whoosh! Lu Ming launched a storm-like attack, the dragon vein sword slashing out continuously. Lu Ming had the upper hand. Suddenly dash! 4 sealing gates appeared in the sky. They shone with bright light and sealed the other party. At that moment, the other party was frozen. Even though it was only for a moment, it was enough. Prison-suppressing steel. Lu Ming cast blood fusion and transformed into the prison-suppressing steel. Boom! The prison-suppressing steel pressed down on the other party. Lu Ming had broken through to the Supreme Being realm and comprehended the embryonic form of the Chaos realm. He had transformed into the prison-suppressing steel. How powerful was he? Although the other party had broken open the ceiling door at the critical moment and blocked it with his combat sword, his body still trembled. His body made crackling sounds and almost exploded. Blood spurted out of his mouth. Buzz! Under the control of Lu Ming's spiritual sense, the dragon vein sword was as fast as lightning and slashed across. The other party had just been severely injured by the prison-suppressing steel that Lu Ming had transformed into. How could he dodge? The dragon vein sword slashed down, and a head flew high into the air. The dragon vein sword twisted again, and the opponent's spiritual god was also turned into ashes. A Level 3 martial royal realm expert had died. On the other side, the battle of the second body was also coming to an end. The second body lit up another golden spirit lamp, and his combat power was also greatly improved compared to the battle of the Holy City. At this time, he took out the all-formation picture and trapped the enemy. Whoosh, 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 whoosh! 5 phoenix feather flying swords shot out and pierced 5 holes in the opponent's body, killing the opponent in one fell swoop. The 2 Level 3 martial royal realm experts were killed just like that. In the Imperial Dragon City, the experts of the Dragon Alliance were both shocked and overjoyed. As for Di Xian and the others, they looked incredulous. Kill. Lu Ming's main body and secondary body charged at Di Xian at the same time. Not good. Young master, quickly retreat. The expression of the Esilavir-haired old man beside Di Xian changed. A golden combat sword appeared in his hand. He took a step forward and arrived in front of Di Xian. The dazzling sword Qi slashed at Lu Ming. Without a doubt, the Esilavir-haired elder's sword was also an emperor's spiritual weapon. At the same time, the Esilavir-haired elder's cultivation was even more shocking. He had reached the peak of the Lever 3 martial royal realm. However, the Esilavir-haired elder was still no match for the joint attack of Lu Ming's main body and second body. After exchanging a few moves, the Esilavir-haired elder retreated continuously. Let's go retreat. Di Xian panicked. Lu Ming's strength was beyond his imagination. He was much stronger than what Di had said. He could not even defeat a Lever 3 martial royal realm expert. He shouted and turned to run. Clang! Boom! Lu Ming's main body joined forces and once again exchanged a blow with the Esilavir-haired elder, forcing him to retreat dozens of miles. Buzz! The second body charged towards Di Xian. Not good. The Esilavir-haired old man's expression changed drastically. He could not care less about the battle. He became one with his sword and turned into a sword light, appearing in front of Di Xian in an instant. In an instant he slashed out 108 sword lights in all directions. The mental energy fire between his eyebrows jumped. On the million formation illustration, countless formations shone. All kinds of formations, all kinds of attacks, all kinds of trapping formations poured toward the Esilavir-haired old man and Di Xian. At the same time, 5 phoenix feather flying swords took the time to assassinate. Lu Ming's main body had also arrived. The Esilavir-haired old man tried his best to protect Di Xian, but the situation was dangerous. Young master, use the space-piercing shuttle. The Esilavir-haired old man roared. Space-piercing shuttle? Yes, yes, yes. Di Xian was so scared that he didn't know what to do. His face was pale and his body was trembling. After the Esilavir-haired old man's reminder, he nodded repeatedly. The space between his brows lit up and a spirit weapon with 2 sharp ends and a thicker center flew out. As soon as this spiritual weapon appeared, it expanded rapidly and a layer of light enveloped Di Xian and the Esilavir-haired old man. Let's go! The Esilavir-haired old man activated his Zhenyuan, and the space-breaking shuttle shone. With a shake, it directly shattered the void and disappeared. He couldn't care about the others. He had long guessed that Di Xian and the others had extraordinary origins. He did not expect them to be a big force in the Yuan continent. The pupils of Xiel Wan, the old general, and the others contracted, and they gasped. A big sect in Yuanlu. Di actually came from Yuanlu. That was the Yuan continent. It was not something the divine wilderness continent or the divine ruins could compare to. Legend had it that in the Yuan continent, experts were as common as clouds and as common as rain. There were countless existences that had surpassed the martial emperor realm. An expert of that level could destroy the divine wilderness continent with a snap of his fingers. Everyone who had heard of the rumors in the Yuan continent was worried. Seeing this, Di sneered and said, Lu Ming, you'd better let me go. Maybe I can help you. Ha, what a joke. Before Di could finish his sentence, Lu Ming laughed and interrupted him. Di, you used to be a lord of a region. Now, in order to survive, you are using this to scare me. It's really pitiful and sad. Lu Ming sneered. Lu Ming. Di was furious. Di, I'm telling you, you must die today. And that Di Xian, if he stops here, it's fine. But if he is stubborn, the emperor family of Yuanlu will be destroyed together. Lu Ming shouted, his voice rumbling throughout the imperial dragon city. At most, the Yuanlu emperor family would be wiped out. What kind of heroic spirit was this? How confident was he? Di was stunned and then laughed wildly. Lu Ming, you're the one who wants to destroy the Di family. You're so short-sighted, you're just a frog at the bottom of a well. Lu Ming, Do you know how many experts there are in the Yuan continent? Do you know how powerful the DI family is? How dare you claim that you've annihilated the DI family? If your words were to spread to Yuan continent, I don't know how many people would laugh their teeth off. D laughed as if he did not care about life and death. So what if I'm strong? Back then, I came from a small country in the mysterious region of the Eastern Barren Territory. At that time, the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace was also a giant, and you were also high and mighty. But how are you now? Lu Ming said calmly, his eyes full of confidence. D, shut up. Roar. The bloodline of the 9 dragons emerged above Lu Ming's head. De, haven't you always wanted the 9 dragon blood essence? Today, I'll let you die under the bloodline of the 9 dragons. With that, the 9 dragon bloodline opened its mouth, and the devouring power enveloped D. Ever since his 9 dragon bloodline had fused with the 9 drops of 9 dragon blood essence, his devouring power had been enhanced many times. It was shockingly powerful. Enveloped by the devouring power, Di's life essence, heart blood, and essence blood were quickly lost and devoured by the 9 dragons. D, even though he was the overlord of a generation and had a tough mind, he was ready to be killed. But in the face of such a situation, he still screamed in horror and struggled with all his might. However, in the million formation illustration, it was futile to struggle. A moment later, Di's life essence was completely devoured and he turned into a dry corpse. In the Imperial Dragon City, countless people were looking at the sky with complicated expressions. D was also considered an overlord of his generation. He had planned for 10,000 years and had almost unified the divine wilderness continent. If not for the appearance of an unprecedented genius like Lu Ming, it would have succeeded and unified the divine wilderness. D was known as a hero of his generation. However, in the end he died at the hands of Lu Ming. He had completely fallen. Let the alliance establishment ceremony continue. Lu Ming turned around, stepped down, and flew down the Imperial Dragon City. His voice spread throughout the city. The Alliance Master is invincible. Their shouts reverberated through the clouds. After this battle, Lu Ming's prestige had reached its peak. As for Yuan Lu, only a small number of people knew about it. Most people did not even have the concept of Yuan Lu. Chapter 1366. 1366 Chapter 1366 Heading to Western Desert. Following that, the Alliance Establishment ceremony proceeded smoothly. The experts took an oath to form an alliance and then divided the territories. After everything was over, it was time for the grand banquet. The banquet went on for a full day and night before the crowd slowly dispersed. In the northern part of the divine wilderness continent, above a boundless sea, space cracked open and a space-piercing shuttle appeared. Buzz! The space-breaking shuttle trembled and shrank, revealing 2 figures. They were Di Xian and the Esilavir-haired old man. The moment the Esilavir-haired old man appeared, he spat out a mouthful of blood. The battle with Lu Ming and the overnight journey had caused the Esilavir-haired elder to be severely injured. But Di Xian didn't even look at the Esilavir-haired old man. His eyes were cold and his face was ferocious. He looked to the south and roared, "That damned bastard. I'm going to tear that Lu Ming into 1,000 pieces." It was fine if he was in the Yuan continent, but in the divine wilderness continent, on this savage island, he actually suffered such a huge loss. Not only did he lose several Emperor's spiritual weapons, he even fled in defeat. This was a huge humiliation. He hated Lu Ming to the core. As for his dead subordinates, Di Xian didn't care at all. In his eyes, those people were just dispensable ants. In the Di family, such ants were too many to count. The Esilavir-haired old man's eyes revealed a trace of sadness, but it disappeared in a flash. "Young master, what should we do now?" The Esilavir-haired old man asked. "What else can we do? Of course, we're going back to the Yuan continent." Di Xian gritted his teeth. "Go back to the Yuan continent and find experts to take revenge." The Esilavir-haired old man asked carefully. "Idiot, Do you know how much it costs to transport some people from the Yuan continent to this remote and desolate island? The clan has already made an exception for me to teleport once. When I return this time, the clan will definitely not let me teleport again in a short period of time. However, it won't be long. When I return and break through to the Martial Emperor realm, I will gain a certain status in the clan and come back again. 10 years, at most 10 years. I will destroy the entire divine wilderness continent with that kid. You're courting death. Di Xian roared ferociously. After a long while, he finally calmed down and flew toward White Feather Continent with the Esilavira-haired elder. Lu Ming's life had completely calmed down. Every day, other than his own cultivation, he would be teaching his 2 disciples. At times, he would also teach his parents, Hua Qi, and the others. As for his second body, other than cultivating, he would occasionally open a forum and preach. He had refined his second body, obtained a saint's inheritance, and broken through to the emperor level. His knowledge of the Tao of refinement was the best in the divine wilderness. Therefore, every time the second clone of inscription opened a forum to preach, people who cultivated the Tao of inscription would swarm over. Bai Shijin, Du Songjue, and the others did not fall behind even once. There were even emperors who went to listen. Lu Ming did not keep anything to himself. He shared his cultivation experience with her. At the same time, Dragon Emperor City was also growing more and more prosperous. The entire divine wilderness continent, the entire Dragon Alliance, was full of life. They were developing and growing. Although, it could be said that the divine wilderness continent had the least emperors in history. Other than Western Desert, there were also a few people from Xie clan. The emperor of the entire Dragon Alliance was not even 20. However, given the current situation, it wouldn't take too long for the number of emperors to slowly increase. Now that the Dragon Alliance had unified the world, they had access to all kinds of resources and opened all kinds of cultivation holy lands to the public. The treatment that the top talents could enjoy was many times better than before. In the past, the various overlord forces had their own territories and their resources were extremely limited. But now, he could choose any resources he wanted. Lu Ming was flying in a straight line and he had already discovered so many experts. It was unbelievable. Sometimes, there would be a supreme martial artist in a small, dilapidated temple. It was truly astonishing. It was said that Western Desert was second only to Central Continent in the 5 territories. It seemed that the rumors were true. Not long after, a temple on a majestic mountain appeared before Lu Ming's eyes. They had arrived at the Bodhi Temple. On the side, the moonless female bodhisattva chanted the name of Buddha and pretended not to hear it. Also, Lu Ming, were you being hunted down in the South God Palace? At that time, I really thought you were dead. The monk continued. Oh, I can't be bothered to pursue this matter, but what about Long Chen? Didn't he come back with you? Where is he? Lu Ming asked. Sai, Long Chen is probably dead too. He was taken away by the Wang family. The monk sighed. The Wang clan. Do you know why they took Long Chen away? Lu Ming's eyes turned cold. I don't know. The monk shook his head. Lu Ming's brows were tightly knitted together. Could it be that he had offended the Wang family's prodigy, Wang Zhen, and that was why the Wang family had taken their anger out on Long Chen? All right, Lu Ming. That's all I know. You came at the right time. If you were a few days later, you wouldn't have seen us. The monk said. Oh, you're leaving? Lu Ming asked curiously. That's right. In a few days, Moonless and I will go to the Yuan continent and join a Buddhist sect there. Ha, I'm indeed the darling of the heavens, the reincarnation of a Buddhist emperor. Lu Ming, I'll catch up with you soon. The unscrupulous monk laughed triumphantly. Lu Ming was secretly shocked. It seemed that the waters of the Western Desert ran deep. They could actually contact the Buddhist sects in the Yuanlu. Then we'll meet in the Yuan continent. Lu Ming said. After that, Lu Ming took his leave. Time flew by, and in the blink of an eye, another month had passed. Over the past few days, Lu Ming had received news that an unknown expert had appeared on the shores of the Divine Wilderness continent. Lu Ming frowned and ordered the guards to be on high alert. On the shore of the Divine Wilderness continent's eastern wilderness, a figure suddenly appeared. A terrifying aura emanated from his body, like the aura of an emperor. "We've finally arrived at the Divine Wilderness continent. That Lu Ming should be there." This figure was wearing a green robe and had narrow and sharp eyes. At this moment, there was a hint of greed in his eyes. With a shake of his body, he flew into the depths of the East continent. Soon, he arrived outside Nine Dragons. "What a majestic city. There's an emperor here. I can ask around about Lu Ming's whereabouts." The green-robed man sneered and rushed into Nine Dragons. He appeared in the depths of Nine Dragons, exuding a vast aura that pressed down on Nine Dragons. "What's going on? It's so strong." "Emperor, that's the emperor. Which emperor from the Dragon Alliance has descended?" In Nine Dragons, many people were suppressed by this aura and almost knelt down. Some of the weaker ones even vomited blood. "Who is it?" A loud shout came from the depths of Nine Dragons, and a burly man rushed out. This burly man was Chu Luo, who had been ordered to guard Nine Dragons. When Chu Luo saw the green-robed man, his eyes narrowed. Because he didn't know the other party. Now, the Divine Wilderness continent's emperors, with the exception of those from the Western Desert, had all joined the Dragon Alliance. Chu Luo was familiar with every one of them, but he did not know this person. Clearly, he was not the Divine Wilderness continent's emperor and had come from overseas. You're finally out. Let me ask you a question. You'd better answer honestly. Otherwise, you'll suffer." The green-robed man chuckled. "What do you want to ask?" Chu Luo said. "Have you ever heard of Lu Ming?" The green-robed man said. Chapter 1368. 1368 The Emperor of the Outer Continent descends. Alliance Master? What business do you have with the Alliance Master? Chu Luo was stunned and asked. "Alliance Master? It seems that Lu Ming's status here is not low. Tell me, where is Lu Ming now?" The green-robed man said. "Why are you looking for the Alliance Master?" Chu Luo said cautiously. "Nonsense, I told you to speak and you just said it. You really have a lot of nonsense." The green-robed man shouted impatiently. A powerful aura rose from his body and pressed down on Chu Luo. Chu Luo's body trembled and he couldn't help but take a few steps back. His face changed dramatically and he exclaimed, "Second-level Martial Emperor Realm." This green-robed man was actually a Level 2 Martial Royal Realm expert. "Why are you looking for the Alliance Master? Otherwise, don't expect me to tell you." Chu Luo roared. "Still not speaking, you're really looking for death." The green-robed man's eyes turned cold as he struck out with his palm. Chu Luo's figure retreated rapidly, and he put up layers of defense in front of him. Bang bang bang. However, Chu Luo's defense was shattered by the green-robed man's palm. Chu Luo spat out a large mouthful of blood and his body flew out like a cannonball. "Let's go." Without any hesitation, Chu Luo turned around and ran. Do you think that I won't know if you run away?" The green-robed man shouted coldly and did not pursue. He appeared under Nine Dragons and grabbed the head of a spiritual god realm master. Green mist then shrouded the man. The spiritual god realm master let out a shrill scream, and the people nearby trembled in fear. "Speak. Where is Lu Ming?" The green-robed man asked coldly. "Alliance head, it's in Dragon Emperor City, Dragon Emperor City." That person shouted. "Dragon Emperor City? Give me the map." The green-robed man shouted coldly. The man did not dare to disobey. He took out a map from his storage ring and handed it to the green-robed man. The green-robed man flung the spiritual god realm master away and opened the map. He sneered, Lu Ming, I've finally found you. It's no wonder that I rushed over from the green-rich continent." A cold light flashed in the green-robed man's eyes. He took a step forward and walked towards the Imperial Dragon City. If Lu Ming was here, he would definitely know that the Lufeng continent was a continent in the southern part of the Divine Ruins continent cluster. It was adjacent to the Divine Wilderness continent. As soon as the green-robed man left, the spiritual god realm master caught by the green-robed man gasped for breath and broke out in a cold sweat. Just when he thought he had escaped, a cloud of green mist suddenly emerged from his body and enveloped him. A shrill scream sounded again. After a while, when the mist dispersed, the spiritual god realm master was only left with a skeleton. Hiss, hiss, hiss. The people nearby all gasped. A similar scene appeared in southern Nether and northern plains. The emperors of both places were attacked. In the Imperial Dragon City, Lu Ming had also received the news. An expert who fought to a draw with the continent has appeared in the southern underworld. Lu Ming frowned. All sides were attacked. The ones who appeared were all emperors with profound cultivation. Even the weakest one was a Level 2 martial royal realm expert. Only Nanming was able to confirm that he was the emperor who had fought evenly with the continent. A draw with the continent? Then, based on the information, it's highly possible that they came from several different continents. Strange. Lu Ming frowned. They came from different continents and suddenly came to the Divine Wilderness continent. Furthermore, all of them had the same goal, to find him, Lu Ming. Lu Ming was filled with doubts. Why did these experts from different continents come to the Divine Wilderness continent to find him at the same time? What? At this moment, Lu Ming received another message. Someone is attacking Northern Plains, Demon God Valley. The Demon God Valley was the place where Xiel Wan was in charge. Xiel Wan showed his power and severely injured his opponent. Then, he took that man to the Imperial Dragon City through the interterritory teleportation formation. Lu Ming was overjoyed. It was a good time to interrogate him. Lu Ming took a step forward and tore open the space. The next moment, he appeared at the border teleportation formation and saw Xiel Wan. There was also a skinny old man. His aura was weak and his face was pale. He lay on the ground with a face full of shock. I'm from the White Feather Continent. You'd better let me go. Otherwise, you'll all die without a burial place. The skinny old man roared, threatening Xielun. The old man was at the second level of the martial royal realm, but he was no match for Xielun. Bang! Lu Ming arrived and landed a footprint on the old man's face, causing the old man's face to come into close contact with the ground. Nonsense. Speak. Why did you come to the Divine Wilderness continent to find me? Lu Ming asked coldly. You are Lu Ming. The skinny old man's eyes lit up and he stared at Lu Ming with a greedy look. Speak. Lu Ming exerted force on his feet. The old man struggled madly. However, his cultivation was sealed and it was useless to struggle. Lu Ming, you'd better hand over the primordial chaos token and let me go. Otherwise, not only will you die, the entire Divine Wilderness continent will be buried with you. The skinny old man roared. Mixed Essence Token? You're here for the Mixed Essence Token? Tell me, what happened? Lu Ming shouted. Lu Ming had not expected that these people would come for the Primordial Chaos Token. He was even more curious. Quickly let me go. The skinny old man shouted. Bang! Bang! Lu Ming stomped on the skinny old man's legs twice. The skinny old man's legs exploded and turned into dust. The skinny old man gasped, and his eyes almost popped out. He then let out a heart-wrenching scream. To an emperor, having his legs burst was nothing. With the exuberant vitality of a spirit body, he could recover very quickly. However, that heart-piercing pain was real. Tell me the truth. Tell me the ins and outs of the matter. Otherwise, the next kick will be your dantian. Lu Ming said coldly. The skinny old man's heart tightened. If Lu Ming stepped on his dantian, his spiritual god would be in danger. In the end, the skinny old man helplessly told him everything he knew. It turned out that a few months ago, a piece of shocking news had spread from the Divine Ruins continent. It was said that the South God Palace had captured a heaven's favorite who had a primordial chaos token. With a token, one could freely enter and exit the divine ruins and obtain the treasures inside. The news caused a huge commotion. Later on, there was more news that the paragon with the primordial chaos token came from the divine wilderness continent. And there was another person in the divine wilderness continent who also had a primordial chaos token. His name was Lu Ming. The entire news spread like a whirlwind across the divine ruins continent, even to other continents. The divine ruins were too mysterious. Inside, it contained boundless treasures. There were a few divine ruins in the divine ruins continent, but it was very dangerous inside, especially the core. Even emperors would die if they went in. But now, by using the mixed element token, one could actually enter the divine ruins freely and obtain the treasures inside. This caused the continent group of the divine ruins to go into a frenzy. Since one piece was in the hands of the South God Palace, the others could only go and snatch the other piece, the one in Lu Ming's hands. Lu Ming finally understood why the sovereigns of the various continents would travel such a long distance to the divine wilderness continent. Their goal was the mixed energy token he had. Chapter 1369. 1369 Chapter 1369 Come to get the primordial chaos token. Lu Ming speculated that the genius controlled by the South God Palace was Long Chen. First, Long Chen was already in the Wang family's hands, and he happened to have the primordial chaos token. Second, a mixed essence token was not that easy to obtain. Lu Ming estimated that in the entire continent group of the divine ruins, only he and Long Chen had the primordial chaos token. Previously, he had learned from 2E of the Primal Chaos Hall that the primordial chaos token was based on one's potential. In the Battle of Providence, some people's cultivation might far exceed Lu Ming's cultivation in the Battle of Providence. However, they might not be able to obtain the mixed energy token. Only those who were determined to have great potential could possibly obtain a mixed energy token. Based on these 2 points, Lu Ming speculated that the prodigy was 100% Long Chen. The Wang family, through some means such as soul-searching, had found out from Long Chen that Lu Ming also had a mixed essence token. However, there was one thing that Lu Ming could not figure out. For example, if the Wang family or the other experts of the South God Palace had secretly found out from Long Chen that Lu Ming also had a primordial chaos token, shouldn't they have secretly sent experts to capture Lu Ming? How did he spread the news and let all the continents in the continent group of the divine ruins know about it? This did not make sense. Boom! At this moment, a powerful aura suddenly came down from the sky. The Imperial Dragon City was enveloped by a powerful pressure. Boom! Boom! Soon after this stress rose up, more stress broke out and suffused the sky above Dragon Emperor City. At this moment, everyone in Dragon Emperor City felt being crushed by Mount Tai and facing a great catastrophe. Lu Ming, get out here! Lu Ming, come out! Several roars were as loud as thunderclaps. The sky above the Imperial Dragon City was rumbling, which shook many people's eardrums and almost made them vomit blood. Good. Lu Ming's eyes turned cold. He took a step forward and landed on the skinny elder's dantian. Boom! The violent power pierced through the skinny elder's dantian and shattered his spiritual soul. The old man's eyes popped out and he roared. You didn't keep your word. Lu Ming sneered, I didn't say that I won't kill you. Also, you came to the divine wilderness continent to take my primordial chaos token. Do you think I won't kill you? You're really naive. With a burst of power, the skinny old man was torn into pieces. Then, Lu Ming took a step forward and appeared in the sky. Buzz. Bush. The sound of air being torn rang out and 5 figures appeared beside Lu Ming. Besides Xiao Wan, there were 4 other emperors. Other than Lu Ming, the Imperial Dragon City was usually guarded by 4 other sovereigns. As soon as Lu Ming appeared in the sky, he saw a few figures standing around the Imperial Dragon City. I am Lu Ming. Lu Ming's voice could be heard from afar. Buzz. Buzz. In a flash, the figures around the Imperial Dragon City appeared around Lu Ming and the others, surrounding them in the middle. Lu Ming, I'm the Divine Sky Emperor of the Juning continent. Hand over your mixed essence token. A burly man with golden hair glared at Lu Ming with an overbearing aura. The mixed energy token is mine. I am the Snow Moon Emperor of the fluttering snow continent. A beautiful woman in white was staring at Lu Ming with cold eyes. Both of them were at the peak of the second-level martial royal realm and were extremely powerful. Those who dared to cross the vast distance to the divine wilderness continent to participate in this contest were all top experts from their respective continents. Even the weakest of them was at the second level of the martial royal realm. Even the first-level martial royal realm experts did not dare to come. He knew that even if he obtained the token, he wouldn't be able to enjoy it. Fluttering snow continent, Juning continent, get lost. A burly man in battle armor shouted coldly. His aura was extremely shocking. He was actually a Level 3 martial royal realm expert. A draw with the continent. The Snow Moon Emperor and the Holy Sky Emperor both had grave expressions. This third-level martial royal realm expert was from Pingdong continent. Even with the continents, they were all in the top 10 of the Divine Ruins continent group and were very powerful. Other than these three, there were another 3 people who were at the Level 2 martial royal realm. One of them was the green-robed elder. He surrounded Lu Ming and the others, eyeing them like a tiger watching its prey. Lu Ming, hand over your primordial chaos token and I'll spare your life. The emperor, who had fought evenly with the continent, looked at Lu Ming coldly. Hee, you're here to take the mixed essence token, but it seems you don't know anything about it. The mixed essence token was obtained in the Battle of Providence and has long been integrated with me. Even if you take it, you can't use it. Lu Ming smiled faintly. You can't use it? That's simple. As long as I cripple you and bring you along, I can similarly enter the Divine Ruins and obtain the treasures inside. The Emperor of the continent laughed sinisterly. Oh really? You're so confident, but have you ever thought that you'll lose your lives here? Lu Ming remained calm, but behind his calmness, a cold, killing intent was slowly gathering. Throw your life here? In the Divine Wilderness continent, what experts can they have that can do anything to me? The experts who fought to a draw with the continent laughed loudly, looking down on everyone. Oh, since that's the case, then die. Lu Ming shouted loudly and suddenly launched an attack. With the chaotic will lingering around him, he wielded the dragon vein sword and slashed at the emperor who had fought evenly with the continent. The terrifying power caused the emperor, who was fighting evenly with the continent, to change his expression. Block it. After fighting evenly with the emperor of the continent, a halberd appeared in his hand. He let out a breath and slashed down with all his might. As a Level 3 martial royal realm expert, he could kill an ordinary Level 2 martial royal realm expert with a full force attack. However, when Lu Ming's dragon vein sword hit his halberd, it shook violently and exploded with a bang. The emperor's body trembled violently after fighting evenly with him. Blood spurted from his mouth as he retreated. How is that possible? The emperor of the continent roared in disbelief. He was a third-grade martial emperor, while Lu Ming was merely a supreme. Although it was indeed unbelievable that he could reach the supreme being realm at such a young age, a supreme being was still just a supreme being after all. How could his combat strength be so powerful that he could injure him so severely with one move? Kill! Lu Ming stepped forward. His combat sword cut through the void and slashed at the emperor who was evenly matched with the continent. The emperor of the continent wanted to dodge, but he suddenly found that dozens of formations had appeared around him. They were all formations to trap the enemy and had him trapped. The dragon vein sword slashed and cut the emperor of the continent in half. This. On the side, the Holy Sky Emperor, the Fluttering Snow Emperor, and the others were dumbfounded. They were completely stunned, and their eyes were wide open. All of this happened too quickly. Lu Ming had just made his move, and within 2 moves, a third-level martial emperor expert, an expert that they were so afraid of, was killed. He thought he was dreaming. Kill! Lu Ming's sword swept across and a second-level martial royal realm expert was killed. Run, run. The others were terrified and frantically fled in all directions. Kill. Xielwan made his move. With a roar, he unsheathed his demonic blade and cut a lever 2 martial royal realm expert into two. As for Lu Ming, he took a step forward and appeared behind the fluttering snow divine warrior, slashing down with his combat sword. The drifting snow sovereign desperately tried to block, but it was of no use. The battle sword slashed down, breaking everything. The drifting snow emperor was dead. Chapter 1370. 1370 Chapter 1370 Almost everyone is here. The 5 sovereigns, including a lever 3 martial royal realm expert, were all killed in an instant, leaving only the Holy Sky Sovereign. The Holy Sky Emperor felt a chill from head to toe. Originally, in his opinion, even if there were strong people in the divine wilderness, the second level of the martial royal realm was the highest. With his cultivation at the peak of the second level of the martial royal realm, it was enough to dominate the divine wilderness. But now, he realized that the divine wilderness continent was a dragon's pool and a tiger's denver. It was a hell. Spare me. The Holy Sky Emperor begged for mercy. I've said it before. Since you've come to take my primordial chaos token, you should be prepared to be killed. Do you really think that the divine wilderness continent is your back garden? Do you think that I, Lu Ming, can be toyed with by you as you please? Lu Ming's cold voice was heard. He appeared behind the Holy Sky Emperor and slashed his dragon vein sword mercilessly. The Holy Sky Emperor remorsefully tried to resist, but the result was difficult to change. The Holy Sky Emperor was defeated and killed in the air. The 5 sovereigns who had come to attack had all died. Lu Ming, send out the order to gather all the sovereigns to guard the Imperial Dragon City. I'm afraid that there will be more powerful people coming. Xielwan suggested. No. Lu Ming waved his hand and said, if we defend passively, there will be no end to it. Now, we need to take the initiative and beat them until they are afraid. Spread the news to every corner of the divine wilderness continent. Do not put up any resistance against the experts from the other continents. Tell them directly that I, Lu Ming, am at Emperor Fall Mountain. You're going to be in Emperor Fall Mountain. Xielwan asked, raising an eyebrow. That's right, Emperor Fall Mountain, kill the emperors. Lu Ming said. Do you need our help? Xielwan said. He could not help but secretly admire Lu Ming's decisiveness. No need. Thank you, Senior, you're in charge of Dragon Emperor City. Lu Ming said. Then, he took a step forward and headed for the fallen Emperor Mountain. Emperor Falling Mountain was only 600,000 miles away from Dragon Emperor City. It was a huge peak that reached into the sky. It was said that in the distant past, an emperor had fallen here, so it was called Emperor Fall Mountain. After a while, Lu Ming appeared at the peak of the fallen Emperor Mountain. He sat cross-legged and waited quietly. The Dragon Imperial City had also spread the news to every corner of the divine wilderness continent, saying that Lu Ming was at the Emperor Fall Mountain. As time passed, more and more powerful cultivators from other continents arrived in the divine wilderness continent. Lu Ming is at the fallen Emperor Mountain. Let's go to Emperor Fall Mountain. I want to be one step ahead and get the primordial chaos token. One figure after another headed towards Emperor Fall Mountain. At the edge of northern plains, the sky rumbled. A huge ship crossing the sea appeared on the coastline. Buzz, buzz, buzz. 3 figures appeared in the ship, each of them exuding vast and powerful auras. 2 of the 3 figures were at the peak of the second-level martial royal realm. The one in the middle was even more terrifying, having reached the peak of the third-level martial royal realm. This person had long green hair and looked to be in his 40s. In the distance, a beam of light flashed and a middle-aged man appeared in front of the 3 of them. He bowed to the green-haired middle-aged man in the middle and said, Second Master, I found out that Lu Ming is in seclusion at the fallen Emperor Mountain. Oh, I got it. The blue-haired middle-aged man nodded and sneered. This Lu Ming is really audacious. He even dares to kill the young master of the sea-suppressing marshal's mansion. This time, my big brother sent me here to kill Lu Ming first to avenge my two nephews and to take the mixed energy token. This subordinate will definitely do his best. The others on the side quickly said, "All right, let's go." The green-haired middle-aged man was the first to step forward. In the fallen Emperor Mountain, Lu Ming sat cross-legged, casually scanning his surroundings. 7 or 8 experts had already appeared around the fallen Emperor Mountain. They were all powerhouses from different continents, and each of them was a Level 2 Martial Royal Realm powerhouse. This power was extremely shocking. However, these people did not make a move. It was not because they were worried about Lu Ming, but because they were worried about each other and were in a stalemate. The mixed essence token is mine. I was the first to arrive. What a joke. You came first, so it's yours? That's bullshit. Could it be that you all want to fight me to a draw against the continent? One voice after another rang out as the auras of the powerful sovereigns burst forth. They stood in the air and faced each other, not giving in. 2 more experts had arrived after the draw with the continent. One of them was at the 3rd level Martial Royal Realm, while the other was at the peak of the 2nd level Martial Royal Realm. As expected of one of the top 10 continents in the continent group of the Divine Ruins, it was very powerful. All the experts were in a confrontation. They were all wary of each other, and no one made a move. A faint smile appeared at the corners of Lu Ming's mouth. He did not try to break the balance. Now was not the time to make a move. It would not be too late to make a move when there were more people. As time passed, more and more emperors came. Behind them, there were 16 more. Even the White Feather Continent, which was ranked 4th in the continent group of the Divine Ruins, had sent a few. Buzz, 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 buzz. Suddenly, 4 figures flew over from the distance. The one in the lead was the green-haired middle-aged man. "I'm working in the sea-suppressing Marshal's mansion of the South God Palace of the Divine Ruins continent. All unrelated people, please leave." A person beside the green-haired middle-aged man shouted. The other people's expressions changed. What? Even the people from the South God Palace are here. Doesn't the South God Palace have a primordial chaos token? Why are they still in Veleverd? The others spoke up one after another, their expressions grave. The Divine Ruins continent was too powerful, far stronger than the other continents. However, it was impossible for them to give up just like that. Sea-suppressing Marshal's mansion, don't try to oppress us with your power. We have so many people here, so we're not afraid of you. That's right. If it was the sea-suppressing commander-in-chief, we might be a bit afraid. But you want us to retreat? Impossible. The others chimed in. The people who had appeared here were all peak experts from the various continents. Although the green-haired middle-aged man had a strong cultivation, he was only at the peak of the Level 3 Martial Royal Realm. He could not scare these experts. "Humph, you really don't know what's good for you. Do you want to go against the sea-suppressing Marshal's mansion and the South God Palace?" The azure-haired middle-aged man's eyes flashed with a cold light as he coldly rebuked. But the others sneered, and none of them retreated. Most of the experts from the southern continent of the Divine Ruins had gathered here. With so many experts gathered, why would they be afraid of the sea-suppressing Marshal's mansion? At most, he could hide after getting the mixed essence token. What could the experts of the South God Palace do? The green-haired middle-aged man's face darkened. Everyone present was an expert. There were no less than 5 3rd-level Martial Royal Realm experts. Although none of them were at the peak of the 3rd-level Martial Royal Realm, he was still afraid of the joint attack of so many experts. We're finally almost there. At this moment, on the fallen Emperor Mountain, Lu Ming spoke indifferently. Many of the sovereigns looked at Lu Ming in unison. "Lu Ming, how dare you kill the people of the sea-suppressing Marshal's mansion? Hand over the mixed element token now and come with me to the sea-suppressing Marshal's mansion to accept your punishment." The green-haired middle-aged man shouted. "Hi Tion, hi you, those 2 pieces of trash. It's fine if you kill them. If you want revenge, then do it. Lu Ming said calmly. Chapter 1371. 1371 Chapter 1371 Thunderbolt Kill. You're looking for death. The green-haired middle-aged man shouted coldly, his face gloomy. Everyone, as you can see, Lu Ming has a grudge against the Sea Conqueror's mansion. My brother's 2 sons died in his hands. Lu Ming is the Sea Conqueror's mansion's enemy. The green-haired middle-aged man's gaze swept across the entire place. He was more concerned about the powerhouses from the other continents. As for Lu Ming, he did not take him to heart at all. I have no objections if you want Lu Ming. Just leave the primordial chaos token behind. That's right. Take him away, but leave the primordial chaos token. The other emperors spoke. Umph. The azure-haired man snorted. He had to kill Lu Ming, but his main goal was still the primordial chaos token. Are you done with your nonsense? Lu Ming stood up, a cold, knife-like killing intent slowly rising from his body. Do you know why this place is called the Fallen Emperor Mountain? Everyone cast their gaze on Lu Ming again. That's because an emperor has fallen here. That's why I chose this place to be your burial ground. Lu Ming's cold voice spread in all directions. What? You're so arrogant. You still want to kill us? What a joke. Don't make a move, let me kill him first. Upon hearing Lu Ming's words, the other sovereigns were furious. Kill. At this moment, Lu Ming suddenly roared and launched an attack. He soared into the sky and charged at several second-level martial emperors. Roar, roar, roar. A dragon's roar was heard as 9 streams of dragon energy burst forth. At the same time, the third bloodline emerged. A surge of energy surged into Lu Ming's body, and then the chaos domain spread all over his body. Buzz! The dragon vein sword slashed out. At this moment, Lu Ming had almost used all his strength. No one had expected that Lu Ming would dare to attack when he was surrounded by more than 20 sovereigns. Moreover, these 20 sovereigns were all above the second level of the martial royal realm. What a terrifying force this was. Therefore, when Lu Ming made his move, they were stunned. The dragon vein sword swept across and the 3 second-level martial royal realm experts were cut in half at the waist. The sword chi burst forth and crushed their spiritual gods into pieces. 3 people were killed in an instant. As Lu Ming drew his sword, the space between his eyebrows glowed. He stepped forward and waved his hand. 5 phoenix-feathered flying swords shot out rapidly, and the cries of phoenixes shook the sky. 5 shrill screams were heard as the phoenix-feathered flying sword pierced through the dantian of 5 lever 2 martial royal realm experts, crushing their spiritual gods. Lu Ming launched an attack. The main body and the second body attacked at the same time, killing 8 experts in an instant. At this time, the others finally reacted. Damn it, you dare to launch a surprise attack. How can he be so strong? Attack and crush him. Angry roars were heard and some people felt chills all over their bodies. If Lu Ming had attacked them just now, what would have happened? Instantly, attacks were launched at the main body and the second body. Buzz! Lu Ming took the lead and moved slightly. Like a fleeting shadow, he disappeared from his original spot. Then, a second-level martial emperor was split in half by Lu Ming. The wind-frozen bead, combined with the wind elemental technique, is indeed extremely fast. Lu Ming's lips curled into a smile. Lu Ming controlled the air-frozen bead and a green energy appeared around his body. Then he cast the wind element spell. Lu Ming's speed was so fast that even an emperor would find it difficult to catch up with him. Then he took a step forward and the void was filled with formations. He used the formations to dodge the attacks. At the same time, he controlled the 5 phoenix-feathered flying swords and killed another lever 2 martial royal realm expert. With a wave of his hand, the million formation illustration appeared. Countless great formations emerged and attacked the emperors. The 10,000 formation illustration was most suitable for group battles. The countless formations, be it offensive, defensive, or trapping, threw the sovereigns into confusion. With his current strength, even a level 3 martial royal realm expert would be afraid of him if he used the all-formation picture. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Lu Ming's main body cast the wind elemental technique and his figure flashed rapidly. Blood splattered everywhere as experts were killed one after another. Second Master, save me. A level 2 martial royal realm expert from the sea-suppressing marshal's mansion shouted. However, the green-haired middle-aged man was being attacked by the second body. Countless great formations poured down on him. Of the 5 phoenix feather-flying swords, 3 of them were constantly stabbing toward him. He could only barely protect himself, so how could he have the energy to save others? The experts of the sea-suppressing marshal's residence were easily killed by Lu Ming. With Lu Ming's current combat strength and the cooperation between his main body and his secondary body, killing a second-level martial emperor was as easy as cutting vegetables. Furthermore, most of these people didn't have an emperor's spiritual weapon. In the blink of an eye, there were only 5 martial emperors left out of the 20. 5 level 3 martial royal realm experts. The other second-level martial royal realm experts were all killed. Retreat, retreat. This person is a demon. He's Ashura, a demon. A few level 3 martial royal realm experts shouted. They were simply scared out of their wits. Lu Ming was unbelievably powerful. There were more than 20 of them. If they were to join forces, even a level 4 martial royal realm expert would have to retreat. However, they were almost completely massacred by Lu Ming. This did not mean that Lu Ming's strength was stronger than a 4th-level martial emperor. It was because the coordination between Lu Ming's main body and his secondary body was too seamless, especially for group battles. It was simply not suitable. The second body could activate the 10,000 formation picture, trapping, disturbing, and attacking enemies, all of which were large-scale attacks. No matter how many enemies there were, they could still be trapped. Moreover, the second body itself had a strong attack power. Coupled with the main body's cooperation in the attack, the opponent's advantage in numbers was not even fully displayed before they were beaten up by Lu Ming with a thunderous momentum. Buzz! At this moment, Lu Ming performed the blood fusion and turned into the prison-suppressing steel, suppressing a 3rd-level martial royal realm expert. Bang! The level 3 martial royal realm expert spat out a mouthful of blood and half of his body exploded. After that, the dragon vein sword slashed out and that person was killed. Then, the prison-suppressing steel pressed down again. The others wanted to escape, but what they were faced with was an endless grand formation. If they wanted to break the grand formation, they would have to spend some time, but this little time would be fatal. Boom! The prison-suppressing steel was like a death-pressing steel. It was covered with the early stage of the chaotic domain. An ordinary 3rd-level martial royal realm expert could not withstand it at all. If they were hit, they would either die or be injured. Damn it, I wanted to escape. Seeing that the other experts were killed by Lu Ming one after another, the green-haired middle-aged man panicked and attacked frantically. However, the second body was staring at him closely, so how could he escape? Whoosh! A formation appeared on the second body, and a beam of sword chi shot out from the tip of his finger. It almost pierced through the middle of the green-haired middle-aged man's brows, causing him to break out in cold sweat. Miserable screams rang out continuously before everything quieted down. The other 3rd-level martial royal realm experts were all killed by Lu Ming. With a wave of his hand, more than 20 storage rings were put away by Lu Ming. Also, the bodies of more than 20 emperors had all been put into the mountain and river diagram. These were all emperors, and both their blood and essence were priceless treasures. Xiao Wan and the others would be able to put them to great use. After putting it away, Lu Ming headed towards the Imperial Dragon City. Outside the Imperial Dragon City, more than 10 figures were waiting anxiously. Xian Yanqing, Xiao Wan, Xia Zhuyang, and the others. They were all the higher-ups of the Dragon Alliance. Although they knew that Lu Ming's combat strength was powerful and he had created miracles time and time again, they could not help but worry when they were facing powerhouses from many other continents. Lu Ming. Suddenly, Xian Yanqing's eyes lit up and he looked forward. A rainbow light flashed and Lu Ming's figure appeared. Lu Ming, are you all right? Xian Yanqing quickly stepped forward, full of worry. During this period of time, Xian Yanqing had been in seclusion to break through to the Supreme Being realm. However, when he heard the news, he immediately came out of seclusion. I'm fine. Lu Ming smiled faintly. Alliance Master, how are the experts from the other continents? Xiao Wan asked. The others also looked at Lu Ming curiously. Lu Ming smiled. With a wave of his hand, the dead bodies of the sovereigns, complete or incomplete, appeared in the air, emitting shocking fluctuations. Even after death, an emperor's body would still emit extremely shocking fluctuations. What is this? Xiao Wan, Xia Zhiyang, and the other emperors were all petrified. These emperors had died not long ago, and they could clearly sense their cultivation base from their corpses. All of them were at the second-level martial royal realm and above. There were as many as 5 of them at the third-level martial royal realm. So many experts had died. It was obvious that he was killed by Lu Ming. Their hearts were twitching and they were gasping. At the same time, they could not see through Lu Ming anymore. You can keep these corpses. You can plan how to use them. Lu Ming instructed. Xiao Wan and the others put away the emperor corpses in a storage ring. Also, I'll keep the storage rings of the emperors that are useful to me. As for the useless ones, I'll give them to you and store them in the treasury. I'll reward you according to your contributions in the future. Lu Ming said. Xiao Wan and the others nodded. Then, they all bade farewell and left. Only Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing were left in the sky. Lu Ming, what do you plan to do next? Xian Yanqing suddenly asked. Little Qing, I still can't hide it from you. Lu Ming smiled. He held Xian Yanqing's hand and gazed into the depths of the Imperial Dragon City. After this battle, although the continents in the south of the Divine Ruins have suffered heavy losses, this matter will not end just because of this. Behind me are the experts from the 4 great divine palaces of the Divine Ruins continent, as well as the experts from the continents in the west, north, and east of the Divine Ruins continent. These experts will also rush over later. If I continue to stay in the Divine Wilderness continent, it will be a disaster for the Divine Wilderness continent. Lu Ming said solemnly. The strongest person who appeared now was only at the peak of the 3rd-level Martial Emperor realm. If a 4th-level Martial Emperor appeared later, how would Lu Ming deal with it? The 4th-level Martial Emperor realm was much stronger than the 3rd level. Although it was not difficult for Lu Ming to kill an ordinary peak level 3 Martial Royal Realm expert with the help of his main body and secondary body, he was not a match for a level 4 Martial Royal Realm expert. If a 4th-level Martial Royal Realm expert came to the Divine Wilderness continent, the Dragon Alliance, the Imperial Dragon City, and even the entire Divine Wilderness continent would be in trouble. This was not what Lu Ming wanted to see. Lu Ming, you're leaving the Divine Wilderness continent? Head to the continent of the Divine Ruins? Xian Yanqing asked. She seemed to have guessed Lu Ming's thoughts. Chapter 1373. 1373 Chapter 1373 Returning to the Divine Ruins continent. That's right, as long as I head to the Divine Ruins continent and appear there, everyone will gather there. Lu Ming said. After all, those people's target was Lu Ming and the Primordial Chaos Token, not the Divine Wilderness continent. As long as Lu Ming appeared in the Divine Ruins continent, everyone who wanted the Primordial Chaos Token would naturally not come to the Divine Wilderness continent. This way, the Dragon Alliance and Lu Ming's family and friends would be safe. This was Lu Ming's plan. This plan could be said to be very bold and dangerous. Lu Ming, I'll go with you. Xian Yanqing held Lu Ming's hand tightly and stared into his eyes. All right. After pondering for a moment, Lu Ming nodded. Xian Yanqing's smile was devastatingly beautiful. Without further ado, Lu Ming gathered the higher-ups of the Dragon Alliance the next day and announced his idea. In the beginning, Xie Wan, Xia Zhuyang, and the rest were strongly against it. But since Lu Ming had already made up his mind, they could not do anything about it. After the meeting, Lu Ming and Xie Wan sat opposite each other in the backyard of the Dragon Alliance. Senior Xie, I don't know when Lu Ming will be back. I'll leave the Dragon Alliance to you for the time being. Lu Ming said. Why do you say that, Alliance Master? Xie Wan was taken aback. There's less than a year before the appointed date with the Yuanlu sect, Dragon God Valley. If we delay our trip to the continent of the Divine Ruins, I'm afraid it will take a year. When the messenger from Dragon God Valley arrives, he will probably have to leave for the Yuanlu. Lu Ming explained. Xie Wan fell silent. After a while, he said, Alliance Master, don't worry. One day I, Xie Wan, will ensure the safety of the Dragon Alliance and your family. Many thanks, Senior. Lu Ming smiled. I will never forget what I promised you. When I have a firm foothold in the Yuanlu continent, I will definitely recommend you to join a big sect. Many thanks. Xie Wan solemnly raised his glass to Lu Ming. After that, Lu Ming went to have dinner with Lu Yuntian and Li Ping. The next day, Lu Ming brought Xian Yanqing and officially set off for the Divine Ruins. In the northern plains, in the boundless ocean, Lu Ming looked at the divine wilderness continent in the distance, a complicated look in his eyes. He didn't know how long it would take for him to return. Xian Yanqing stood quietly beside Lu Ming, not saying a word. Little Qing, let's go. After a long while, Lu Ming smiled, held Xian Yanqing's hand, and turned to leave. This time, Lu Ming only brought Xian Yanqing and Tu Qian. Lu Ming left him at the Lu family to guard the Lu family. After flying for a while, Xian Yanqing entered the mountains and rivers to cultivate while Lu Ming began to travel at full speed. He had to get to the continent of the Divine Ruins as soon as possible, or else things would change. Lu Ming tore the space apart with all his might and his speed was shocking. Traveling at full speed would consume a lot of energy. Even with Lu Ming's current essential core strength, he would not be able to last long. However, Lu Ming had a secondary body. When the main body's essential core ran out, the main body would enter the mountain and river diagram to recover while the secondary body would continue on its journey. Lu Ming's current speed was slightly faster than an average Level 3 Martial Royal Realm expert. He traveled day and night, and in just a few days, the continent of the Divine Ruins was in sight. Back then, it would have taken several months to travel on Lightning Rhino Supreme, but now that he was traveling at full speed, his speed was several dozen times faster than that of Lightning Rhino Supreme. Divine Ruins Continent, I'm back again. Lu Ming's eyes turned cold, and he rushed towards the Divine Ruins Continent. When he arrived at the Divine Ruins Continent, Lu Ming found a place to devour the rough stone and restore his cultivation to its peak. See suppressing Marshal's mansion, you will be the first one to be attacked. Lu Ming muttered, then tore open the space and left. It was very simple to let the continent group of the Divine Ruins know that Lu Ming had come to the continent of the Divine Ruins in a short time. He just had to make a big commotion. Chapter 1374. 1374 Chapter 1374 Slaughtering the Marshal's Residence. Hai Pengtian's powerful aura that belonged to the 4th level Martial Emperor realm bloomed, causing Lu Ming to feel immense pressure. Behind Hai Pengtian were 2 old men at Level 3 Martial Royal Realm. Buzz. Bush. At this moment, a group of figures rushed out from below and stood behind Hai Pengtian. There were more than 10 of them, and they were all emperors. Those below the Emperor realm didn't even dare to come up. Just that aura alone was enough to suffocate even supreme martial artists. Who the hell are you? Who sent you to attack the sea-suppressing marshal? Hai Pengtian's gaze was cold as he stared at Lu Ming. He did not make a move immediately. On the Divine Ruins continent, not many forces dared to come here so brazenly. The sea-suppressing marshal's mansion belonged to the South God Palace. In the Divine Ruins continent, only the other 3 great divine palaces would dare to do so. Thus, Hai Pengtian was slightly apprehensive and decided to ask clearly first. Me? Didn't you send your second brother to catch me? I'm Lu Ming. The corners of Lu Ming's mouth curled up slightly as he spoke. His clear voice spread throughout the entire ancient city and rang in everyone's ears. What? He's Lu Ming? The number one person among the younger generation, the Lu Ming who holds the primordial chaos token? He actually came to the Divine Ruins continent. The ancient city was in an uproar. You are Lu Ming. Hai Pingtian's eyes focused, and a cold, killing intent flickered in them. That's right. He's Lu Ming. I've seen him before when the major sects of the Yuanlu continent were selecting their disciples. A voice came from the ancient city. Obviously, someone had recognized Lu Ming. After receiving confirmation, Hai Pingtian's eyes shone brightly. That second brother of mine actually failed. Lu Ming, I really admire your guts. Coming to the Divine Ruins, you actually dare to come to my sea-suppressing Marshall's manor to kill people. Today, don't you leave. The aura on Hai Pingtian's body became more and more vigorous. He was about to make his move. Marshall, you don't need to do anything to deal with a little kid. I'll take him down and avenge the two young masters. A Level 3 Martial Emperor Realm Elder stepped out from behind Hai Pingtian and bowed. All right, cripple his cultivation first, but don't kill him. Hai Pingtian instructed. Yes, don't worry, Marshal. Yes, the Level 3 Martial Royal Realm Elder replied. He then walked toward Lu Ming and locked his aura onto him. This Lu Ming, second master, went to the Divine Wilderness continent to look for him, but he actually hid in the Divine Ruins continent. But he's also stupid to come to the Marshal's manor to vent his anger. He probably suffered a lot from second master. That's good, it should be my credit. The Level 3 Martial Emperor Realm Old Man thought to himself as he revealed a ferocious look. Buzz! A metal rod appeared in his hand and he swung it at Lu Ming. Perfect, kill them one by one. Lu Ming's eyes shone with a cold light. If Hai Pingtian had attacked him, it would have been troublesome. Now that this elder had volunteered, it had given Lu Ming a chance. Boom! Lu Ming stepped forward and threw a punch. The fist and the metal rod collided heavily. Lu Ming's entire body's strength suddenly exploded. The third-level Martial Emperor Realm Elder's expression changed drastically. His eyes were filled with disbelief. He had not expected Lu Ming's strength to be so terrifying. Then his body staggered backward. Kill! Lu Ming cast the wind element technique and appeared in front of the elder in an instant. He threw a punch. The old man gathered all his energy into the long staff and swung it at Lu Ming. However, at this moment, Lu Ming's glabella glowed. He took a step forward and waved his hand. The martial arts phoenix feather flying sword whizzed out and attacked the old man. This time, it was too sudden and he was caught off guard. The elder's attention was on Lu Ming. He did not expect another Lu Ming to appear between Lu Ming's brows. It was too late for him to dodge. The 5 phoenix feather flying swords pierced through the old man's 5 vital points and killed him. Kill! After killing the elder, Lu Ming did not stop at all. These 10 people were the patriarchs of the 10 great clans of the South God Palace. They were also the 10 people with the highest status in the South God Palace. The 10 of them gathered to discuss Lu Ming's matter. Everyone, what should the South God Palace do about Lu Ming's matter? One of them asked. Of course we'll send experts to capture Lu Ming. He still has a primordial chaos token on him. One of the middle-aged men, who was rather handsome, said. This person was wearing a milky white long robe and had a rather refined aura. This person was one of the 10 great clans, the Wang clan's clan head, Wang Zhen's father, Wang Sheng. That's right. I agree with Brother Wang's suggestion. We should send out experts to take Lu Ming down. As long as we don't kill him, we can even cripple his cultivation. At Wang Sheng's side, a person coldly said. This person was the newly promoted master of the Mu family. The previous head of the Mu family had joined forces with young Master Lin of the deity sect to chase after Lu Ming. They had chased him into the core of the Divine Ruins and were killed by the headless true dragon rider. Therefore, This person was newly promoted. I don't think it's appropriate. At this moment, another voice was heard. Wang Sheng's eyes turned cold. Looking at that person, he said, Ji Feng, what do you mean by this? Why is it inappropriate? I know that your daughter, Ji Hongchen, has some friendship with Lu Ming. Are you trying to help him? Ji Feng, the clan head of the Ji clan, was Ji Hongchen's father. Laughable. Ji Feng gave Wang Sheng a contemptuous look and said, Now that Long Chen is in the hands of our South Deity Palace, the other 3 great divine palaces are already envious. What will the other 3 great divine palaces do if we capture Lu Ming? Will they join forces to attack our South God Palace? At that time, what will our South God Palace have to resist? His words silenced the hall. That's right, I think Brother Ji has a point. The South Deity Palace will not interfere in Lu Ming's matter for the time being. Someone else said after a long while. Lu Ming killed more than 20 emperors from the sea, suppressing Marshall's mansion. Are we going to just let it go? The Mu family's master was unwilling. We don't need to do anything to Lu Ming. If he falls into the hands of the other 3 celestial palaces, he'll definitely suffer a fate worse than death. Someone said. That's right, we just need to do our best to protect Longchen. Moreover, to enter the divine ruins, a mixed essence token is enough. Indeed, Lu Ming, let them fight for it. The others chimed in. Wang Sheng and the Mu family's head were helpless and could only compromise. In the southern part of the Divine Ruins continent, in a wild mountain. This place was extremely well hidden and filled with demonic qi. Unless one was an expert who cultivated the demonic path, very few people would come here. Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing appeared there. Little Qing, you should cultivate here for the time being. Lu Ming said. Lu Ming, what do you want to do? Don't even think about leaving me alone. Xian Yanqing smacked his lips. Lu Ming smiled bitterly. Xiaoqing, don't worry. I'll be fine. I'll come and visit you after a while. Seeing that Xian Yanqing was still staring at him with wide eyes, Lu Ming said, And I have a main body and a secondary body. My main body and my secondary body will act separately. Nothing will happen to me. You want to go to the South God Palace and ask about Long Chen's whereabouts? Xian Yanqing was extremely intelligent. He guessed Lu Ming's thoughts right away. Lu Ming nodded. That's right. I'm planning to let my second body sneak into the South God Palace. My main body will be outside to attract the attention of others. This was Lu Ming's plan. He would use his main body outside to attract the attention of those experts, while his second body would sneak into the South God Palace and wait for an opportunity to rescue Long Chen. This operation would be dangerous. Although he had the mountain and river diagram and could bring Xian Yanqing along, Lu Ming could not guarantee that he would not be in danger. If anything happened to him, Xian Yanqing, who was in the mountain and river diagram, would definitely not be spared. That was why he left Xian Yanqing here and acted alone. Everyone wanted it, and the other 3 great divine palaces were also eyeing it. Since the South God Palace controlled Longchen, it was equivalent to controlling a mixed essence token. Naturally, they had to guard it tightly in case it was stolen by the other 3 great God Palaces. Therefore, it was reasonable for them to recruit inscriers and strengthen the guard. Regardless, let's go and take a look. Lu Ming's eyes flickered and he headed to the recruitment site. When he arrived at the recruitment site, Lu Ming discovered that many people were inscription masters. The reward given by the South God Palace this time was extremely generous, which attracted many alchemists to sign up, but many of them looked depressed. After some inquiries, Lu Ming knew why these people were depressed. It was because the inscription masters recruited by the South God Palace had to be at least level 8. A level 8 alchemist was equivalent to a spiritual God realm warrior. To become an inscriber, one had to be very talented. Therefore, in this world, the number of people who practiced the path of inscriber was relatively small. Naturally, there were far fewer inscribers above the 8th rank than spiritual God realm warriors. Those who were dejected were those who had not reached the 8th rank. Lu Ming went forward and came to a counter. We're looking for an inscriber above the 8th rank. Are you an 8th rank inscriber? An old man in charge of recruitment looked at Lu Ming with a hint of contempt in his eyes. After Lu Ming had changed his appearance, he looked ordinary, but he was very young. How could he be a level 8 alchemist at such a young age? The old man didn't quite believe it. The path of inscription was more difficult to cultivate than martial arts. The elder was a supreme level inscriber. It took him hundreds of years to break through to become a level 8 inscriber. And how old was Lu Ming? I'm an 8th rank alchemist. Lu Ming smiled and did not take it to heart. Oh, you're an 8th rank alchemist. Don't lie to me. Show me your mental fire. The old man said. Lu Ming nodded. A silver light was emitted from between his eyebrows. His strong mental energy filled the entire area, attracting everyone's attention. Such pure mind power, such pure mind fire. The recruiting elder gasped and looked at Lu Ming in shock. He felt that Lu Ming's mental energy fire was extremely pure. If the mental energy fire of ordinary people was like that of ordinary people, then Lu Ming's mental energy fire was like that of an emperor. Yes, the old man felt that his mental energy fire seemed to be under great pressure. It should be fine now. Lu Ming muttered and kept the mental energy fire. He had used a certain method to conceal the color of his mental energy fire, making it look like a silver mental energy fire. Moreover, Lu Ming tried his best to suppress it and only revealed a little bit. The color could be changed and the quantity could be suppressed, but the essence of his mental energy fire could not be changed. He was an emperor and had inherited the legacy of the profound sky saint. Every step he took was perfect, and his mind fire was naturally pure and condensed to the extreme. It was far from what ordinary people could compare to. Good. So little brother is a genius in the Tao of inscription. I was wrong just now. The old man smiled awkwardly and registered Lu Ming's information. After the registration, he passed Lu Ming a jade card. Lu Ming took the jade card and waited at the side. A few hours later, the recruitment was over. They had recruited 7 level 8 alchemists. Come with me to the place you're supposed to guard. As for the reward, it'll be paid every month. The South God Palace won't be short of a single raw stone. The recruitment elder led Lu Ming and the rest into the depths of the South God Palace. Very soon, everything deep in the mountain appeared before Lu Ming's eyes. At the bottom of the mountain, there was a cave. Clearly, there was another world inside the mountain. And on the path leading to this cave, a large formation was inscribed. This kind of formation was extremely profound. It's actually the Great Realm Energy Chain Formation. After watching for a while, Lu Ming furrowed his brows. He felt that it was a little tricky. The Great Array of Connected Realm Energy was a pure sensing array. It did not have any offensive or defensive power. It only had the ability to sense. As long as someone walked into the Great Array of Realm Energy, the Great Array would sound an alarm. Of course, Lu Ming could easily break an ordinary sensing array. However, even he would find it difficult to break the linked realm energy array in front of him. Lu Ming could tell that there were a total of 10 major arrays in front of him. They were interconnected and each of the 10 major arrays had locked onto one type of aura. 10 formations meant 10 different auras, which were the auras of 10 people. If he wanted to break this kind of array, he could only use the aura of these 10 people to refine an array-breaking token. Only then would he be able to enter silently. Otherwise, no matter how powerful the formation was, it would still be able to sense him and send out an alarm. It was obvious that if Long Chen was locked up in this mountain, the others in the mountain would move him away as soon as the alarm was sounded. Even if they forced their way in, they wouldn't be able to save him. If he wanted to enter the mountain without a sound, he had to break the realm energy chain formation. But how to crack it? Most importantly, Lu Ming did not know whose aura it was. How was he going to get the auras of these 10 people? Lu Ming took a closer look and then backed out, returning to his original position. The South God Palace really values the mixed essence token. They're so heavily guarded. It's not that easy to save Long Chen. Lu Ming was pondering in his heart. In order to break this realm energy chain array and refine the array-breaking token, I must have the auras of those 10 people, but which 10 people do they belong to? I've heard that the South God Palace is led by the top 10 families. Could it be that the aura of these 10 people are the patriarchs of the top 10 families? Lu Ming guessed in his heart. This possibility was the highest. However, there was no guarantee that Lu Ming planned to find an opportunity to secretly investigate. For the next 7 days, Lu Ming was thinking of this strategy, but he came up with nothing. On the 8th night, Lu Ming's expression suddenly changed. He saw a figure flickering in the mountains. It was so fast that there was no movement at all. Not even a shadow could be seen. The level 8 alchemists did not notice it at all. If not for Lu Ming's powerful cultivation, it would have been difficult for him to discover it. This figure seemed to be very familiar with the formation on the outside. He shuttled through the formation and headed towards the inner part of the mountain. Lu Ming's eyes flickered. He moved and followed the figure into the mountain. After passing through the formation, the figure stopped. The figure was wrapped in a black robe and her appearance could not be seen clearly. However, from the figure, it was clearly a woman. Long Chen, I know that the South God Palace has gone too far by treating you like this. Unfortunately, I can't do anything about it. The figure sighed slightly. The voice was very soft, but Lu Ming could still hear it. This is Ji Hongchen. Lu Ming's gaze flickered. This voice was clearly Ji Hongchen's voice. Lu Ming would definitely not remember it wrong. Ji Hongchen did not stay for long before he turned and left. Lu Ming followed behind Ji Hongchen. Should we get Ji Hongchen's help? Lu Ming had many thoughts in his mind. Although Lu Ming was not very close to Ji Hongchen, he still acknowledged Ji Hongchen's character. And from the looks of it, Ji Hongchen seemed to have the intention to help Long Chen, but he was helpless. Lu Ming pondered and followed Ji Hongchen out of the mountain. They headed to the other areas of the South God Palace. However, not long after, Ji Hongchen's figure suddenly stopped. His gaze shifted as he berated, "Who is it? Are you following me?" With her status, it was still possible for her to detect the auras of the 10 great clan patriarchs. Lu Ming, although I feel that it's unfair for the South God Palace to treat you and Long Chen like this, it's really not easy to save Long Chen. Even if you have the aura of the 10 great clan chiefs, can you refine the array-breaking token? The method of making the token is top secret. Even I can't get it. Ji Hongchen said. Don't worry about this, Miss Ji. As long as I have the aura of the 10 great clan chiefs, I can refine the array-breaking token. Lu Ming said with confidence. Really? Ji Hongchen found it hard to believe. Could it be that Lu Ming was not only talented in martial arts, but also a powerful inscriber? As far as she knew, even if one knew how to refine it, it was impossible to refine it without the cultivation of a 9th-level alchemist. Of course it's true. As soon as he finished speaking, a golden mental energy fire jumped between Lu Ming's eyebrows. It was dazzling. Ji Hongchen's beautiful big eyes suddenly widened. His small mouth was slightly agape as an expression of disbelief appeared on his face. Lu Ming was really a level 9 alchemist. In that case, when the major sects of the Yuanlu continent were selecting their disciples, Lu Ming did not use his full strength at all. Just based on martial arts alone, he was able to suppress everyone, and his Tao of inscription had even reached the emperor level. What a freak! Ji Hongchen wailed in his heart. Miss Ji. Lu Ming put away the mental energy fire and called out to Ji Hongchen a few times. Ji Hongchen then came back to his senses from the shock. Her beautiful eyes blinked and stared at Lu Ming, causing Lu Ming's hair to stand on end. What a freak! In the end, Ji Hongchen mumbled something that made Lu Ming roll his eyes. Alright, I promise you. I'll help you get the aura of the 10 great clan chiefs. After a moment of silence, Ji Hongchen nodded his head. Miss Ji, I still have a question. Would you like to ask? Lu Ming was overjoyed. By right, Long Chen and I have been selected by the Dragon God Valley as their disciples. How could the South Deity Palace and the other 3 great deity palaces have the guts to deal with us? It seems like you have no scruples at all. Lu Ming asked the biggest question in his heart. This question had been bothering Lu Ming. He and Long Chen were disciples of the Dragon God Valley. How dare these people from the Divine Ruins continent treat them like this? Weren't they afraid that the experts of the Dragon God Valley would come and kill them? If he had done it secretly, it would still be acceptable, but now he was clearly doing it openly. Lu Ming, you don't know yet, do you? A few months ago, the Tianshan sect sent news that the Dragon God Valley in the Yuan continent was destroyed. Ji Hongshan revealed a shocking piece of news. Destroyed? Lu Ming was dumbfounded. The Dragon God Valley, a major sect in the Yuanlu continent, had been destroyed. In that case, everything made sense. If Dragon God Valley was destroyed, what would the experts on the continent have to worry about? Lu Ming was also speechless. He had joined a big sect in the Yuan continent after much difficulty. Now, he had not even entered the sect and was already destroyed. It seemed that the danger level of the Yuan continent was much higher than the continents of the Divine Ruins. A great sect had been destroyed just like that. It seemed that even if he went to the Yuan continent in the future, he would have to find a new sect to join. Chapter 1379. 1379 Chapter 1379 Unforeseen Event. Many thanks, Miss G. After a long while, Lu Ming took a deep breath to calm himself down and thanked Ji Hongshan. Today, many doubts in Lu Ming's heart were wrestle-levered. You're welcome. I'll take my leave first. I'll come to you again when I find the aura of the clan leaders of the top 10 families. Ji Hongshan said. Before she left, she blinked her eyes and looked at Lu Ming. Do you really believe me? Aren't you afraid that I'll find some experts to take you down? If that's the case, the 2 primordial chaos tokens will be in our hands. Lu Ming smiled and said, Didn't I just say it? I believe in Miss Ji. Ji Hongshan smiled and flew away. After Ji Hongshan left, Lu Ming changed his appearance again and returned to the periphery of the mountain, the area that he was in charge of. Unexpectedly, Ji Hongshan came to look for Lu Ming the next night. Lu Ming, this is the teacup that my father once drank from. I believe it will be useful to you. Ji Hongshan passed Lu Ming a jade teacup. Thank you, Miss Ji. Lu Ming received it in joy. Ji Hongshan gave a faint smile and left without saying anything. Following that, the detailed diagram of the air vein chain formation appeared in Lu Ming's mind. During this period of time, he had thoroughly analyzed the mysteries of the realm energy interlocking formation and reflected them in his mind. Then, he took out a jade talisman and extracted the Ji family's aura from the teacup. He absorbed the aura into the jade talisman and began to carve inscriptions on it. 3 days later, the first token was successfully refined. As long as one held this token and entered the formation corresponding to the Ji family's head, the formation would not issue any alarm. Unfortunately, the realm energy linking formation required 10 tokens. One less token was useless. After a few more days, Ji Hongshan sent over the aura of the second clan head. Lu Ming, it's easy for me to get some family heads who are on good terms with my father. However, it'll be troublesome for some family heads who are on opposing sides with my father. I'll need some time. Ji Hongshan said to Lu Ming before he left. Lu Ming could understand. After all, this was a 4th-level martial royal realm expert. It was not easy to obtain the aura of the clan leaders of the 10 great clans of the South Deity Palace. Lu Ming could only refine the aura in his hands into a token. Other than guarding the array, Lu Ming spent the rest of his time cultivating alone to strengthen his mental energy fire. It did not take up much time. Time passed day by day. In the outside world, Lu Ming's main body would occasionally appear to attract people's attention besides cultivating. More and more experts took part in the pursuit of Lu Ming. In addition to the experts from the other 3 great divine palaces, the experts from the continent of the Divine Ruins and other continents also came to the continent of the Divine Ruins one after another. However, Lu Ming was proficient in the illusionary breath technique and could change his aura. Moreover, he had powerful combat strength. Every time he appeared, he would stir the air and escape easily. Just like that, more than 4 months passed in the blink of an eye. It was getting closer and closer to the 2-year agreement with the big sects of the Yuanlu continent. After more than 4 months, Lu Ming had already refined 7 array-breaking tokens. Now, Ji Hongqian's speed of obtaining aura was getting slower and slower. The time he needed was getting longer and longer. Because the rest of the people were enemies of the Ji family, it would be difficult to get their aura. Night fell. Lu Ming sat cross-legged on a blue stone and closed his eyes to cultivate. Between heaven and earth, there were strands of invisible power of inscription that descended from the inscription law and was absorbed by Lu Ming. The mental energy fire in Lu Ming's sea of consciousness slowly grew stronger. Suddenly, Lu Ming opened his eyes and looked ahead. "It's here again," Lu Ming muttered. 2 black shadows shuttled through the array silently. No one noticed them except Lu Ming. These 2 figures were not Ji Hongqian. They were someone else. 2 months ago, these 2 figures had been secretly observing the mountain's realm energy chain formation. Behind him, Lu Ming observed secretly and finally discovered something. The 2 people who were observing in the dark were actually experts from the Wang clan, one of the 10 great clans of the South God Palace. Lu Ming guessed that the Wang family also wanted to refine the token. Their goal was simple: to take Long Chen away and keep the primordial chaos token for themselves. After a while, the 2 figures retreated. After the 2 of them left, another figure came forward. It was Ji Hongqian. This time, Ji Hongqian had brought the 8th aura. Lu Ming, there are 2 other types. Ji Hongqian's face was slightly haggard. It was obvious that she had put in a lot of effort in this short period of time in order to obtain the aura of the 10 clan heads. Lu Ming was very touched. After Ji Hongqian left, Lu Ming continued to refine the array-breaking token. Time flew by and another month passed. Ji Hongqian had delivered the 9th aura. It had been 5 months since Lu Ming entered the South God Palace. After Lu Ming received the aura, he began to refine the array-breaking token. However, something happened that night. More than a dozen black shadows shuttled through the darkness, heading towards the depths of the mountain. Lu Ming was secretly shocked. The dozen or so black shadows were all experts, all emperors. There was even one whose cultivation was unfathomable. He was a level 4 martial royal realm expert. There aren't many 4th-level martial emperors in the entire South God Palace. Could it be that the Wang clan's clan master has personally made a move? The Wang clan has sent so many experts this time. Could it be that they have already refined 10 formation-breaking tokens? Lu Ming made a guess. Runes appeared on his body and he restrained his aura to the extreme. His figure flashed and he followed behind the dozen figures silently. When he arrived in front of the realm energy chain formation, the strongest man waved his hand and took out 10 jade tokens. As expected, the other party had refined 10 array-breaking tokens, 1 step ahead of Lu Ming. The 10 array-breaking tokens emitted a layer of light that enveloped the dozens of black shadows. The dozens of black shadows rushed into the realm energy chain array without causing any waves. Not long after, a dozen black figures rushed into the cave and disappeared. Lu Ming furrowed his eyebrows tightly. Now that the plan had changed and exceeded his expectations, he could only take 1 step at a time. Not long after, more than a dozen people reappeared at the entrance of the cave, but this time, there was one more person in the middle. Long Chen. Lu Ming immediately saw Long Chen among the group of people. Long Chen's face was pale as he was being carried by someone. It was obvious that Long Chen had suffered a lot during this period of time, but his eyes were still determined. More than a dozen people took Long Chen and quickly passed through the formation, arriving at the outermost formation. They were about to pass through the formation and escape. Boom, boom, boom. In the sky, powerful auras suddenly burst out. There were over 100 of them. Then hundreds of figures descended and surrounded the dozen figures. Wang Sheng, you really want to keep the primordial chaos token for yourself. You found someone to privately refine the formation breaking token. Do you think we don't know? A white-haired old man coldly shouted. Haha. The one with the strongest aura among the dozen or so people laughed heartily. He circulated his true essence, and the black robe wrapped around him shattered, revealing his true appearance. It was the Wang family's patriarch, Wang Sheng. As for the others, they were obviously experts from the other clans of the South God Palace. The inscription masters and the martial artists below the Emperor realm were all running for their lives. The scene of hundreds of emperors fighting together was too terrifying. Bright lights lit up all over the South God Palace. They were inscriptions that formed into inscription formations. Buzz. Bush. At the same time, people from all over the South God Palace were also rushing toward the battlefield. They were all Emperor-level experts. After all, this was the territory of the South God Palace. There were many experts who were constantly rushing over to gather. Slowly, the South God Palace gained the upper hand. Although the North Divine Palace was the strongest of the 4 great divine palaces, it was impossible for the North Divine Palace to come in full force. Facing the frenzied counterattacks of the South Divine Palace, they began to fall into a disadvantage. In the sky, there was a bloody rain and a foul wind. Corpses kept falling down. They were all the corpses of emperors. Boom! Boom! A terrifying fluctuation spread out. It was a battle between level 4 martial royal realm experts. It was extremely shocking. Wang Sheng, hand over Long Chen. A clan head was staring at Wang Sheng and fighting with him. Ji Feng, you think you can stop me? Get lost. Wang Sheng erupted, and his entire body was covered in Saint Light. A sword of Saint Light forced Ji Feng back, and he brought Long Chen with him as he continued to attack. He wanted to meet up with the people from the North Deity Palace, but Ji Feng and his men blocked Wang Sheng's path. The other patriarchs of the South Divine Palace led their men and fought against the experts of the North Divine Palace. You guys take Long Chen and rush out of the South God Palace. I'll hold them off. Wang Sheng ordered his subordinates. At the same time, holy light spread out from his body. It was extremely dazzling, turning into countless swords of holy light. In an instant, they enveloped Ji Feng and the other experts. He wanted to stall his opponent by himself and let his men break out with Long Chen. Among the 10 great clan leaders of the South God Palace, Wang Sheng's battle strength was enough to rank in the top 3. Ji Feng roared and exploded with all his strength. However, for the time being, he was unable to break through Wang Sheng's obstruction. Wang Sheng's subordinates were about to rush out with Long Chen. No one noticed that Long Chen's eyes were getting redder and redder, revealing a ferocious look. Roar! At this moment, Long Chen let out an angry roar. It didn't sound like a human's roar, but more like an ancient beast awakening. An Archean dragon-esque elephant the size of a mountain appeared above Long Chen's head, bursting with a terrifying aura. All of a sudden, Long Chen broke free from the man's grasp and transformed into an immemorial dragon elephant. How did he recover his cultivation? An emperor of the Wang family exclaimed. Long Chen's cultivation had been sealed, but how did it recover now? While they were stunned, the Archean dragon-esque elephant roared and stomped on a level 1 martial royal realm expert with its leg, which was like a heavenly pillar. The emperor was caught off guard and let out a blood-curdling screech as his body was torn apart by the stomp. His body and soul were both destroyed. He had killed a first-level martial emperor in one move. In the distance, Lu Ming's gaze flickered. Dragon Star seemed to be undergoing some kind of mutation. Lu Ming could see clearly that Long Chen's cultivation should be at the 9th level of the spiritual god realm. Although he had made great progress since the initial screening, it was impossible for Long Chen to kill a first-level martial emperor with one move given his combat strength. The reason might be that Dragon City's immemorial dragon elephant bloodline was in an abnormal state, and its combat power had been greatly improved. After killing a first-level martial royal realm expert with a single move, the Archean dragon-esque elephant charged forward and knocked back the other 2 martial royal realm experts. It then fled into the distance. If you want to leave, then stay. A third-level martial royal realm expert from the Wang family attacked the Archean dragonesque elephant with a cold expression. Boom! The Archean dragonesque elephant was forced back, and its body exploded. You still dare to resist? Then I'll cripple your cultivation. As long as you don't die, you can still use the primordial chaos token. The Lever 3 martial royal realm expert from the Wang family had a cold expression as he charged toward Long Chen. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.